woke up last night a couple times with thinking about this subprime mortgage fiasco. These companies, whatever, the salespeople that were involved or whatever, they did the wrong thing and they kind of screwed over the cool people of America. Now the government's going to go there and kind of bail them out. But if you just look at it common sense, it's like, screw people over, get away with it. That's a corporation, company, a whole industry, whatever, that's fine. As an individual, when I do something that's just a little bit selfish, right? The government comes and sticks their hand up my ass and rips my guts out and, gives me a ticket, a fine, $25, $50, whatever it is, right? And you're like, God damn it. $50, $25, whatever, no big deal, $30, whatever the ticket is or whatever the thing is. But you know what? It's like, and you're just like, you don't want to pay that machine, that government, because you're giving the money to the mean, steam-rolling machine of a government that's going to just roll you over. You're just feeding it, It's like handing someone a hammer and they hit you over the head, and then you give them a bigger hammer and they hit you over the head again. You're like, God, I need to give them a bigger hammer. Give them a bigger hammer and bam! You're like, God, please help me. That's what it's like. And then you start to think about it. You're like, wait a minute. I don't want to pay this $25 fee or this $50 fee. Put this into perspective, okay? How many people have gotten a speeding ticket? Raise your hand. Okay, well, that's pretty much everybody. All right, and how many of you paid the speeding ticket? Raise your hand. All right, that's pretty much everybody. Fine. How many of you stopped speeding as a result of that? Raise your hand. Nobody. Nobody's raising their hand. What, you had to pay a fine because you were speeding. Why didn't you stop speeding? Exactly, me neither. So it's like, the reason why they do it is to say, well, you can't do that anymore. Well, you know what? We're going to do it anyway. So why do I have to pay the fine? And you're thinking about this, all this stuff going on. You realize that the deadline for paying the ticket is now passed. Does the ticket disappear? No. The government's not bailing you out. You did something wrong. They're not coming to you and saying, oh, you didn't pay that ticket on time. So we're going to pay it for you. All right? And, what we're gonna do is we're gonna install a new gas pedal in your car so you can speed faster. You're not doing that to the individual. We get screwed over. Let's just say, hypothetically, you got, I don't know, a seatbelt violation in California, summer 2006. You're like, crap, I don't want to pay that $25 fine. And the cop says, well, if you show up to court, they'll probably just cancel it and they'll just take it off. And so then, the person would say to them, wait a minute, if they're just going to take it off, then why are you giving me this stupid ticket? I don't live here. I can't even go to the court. I'm not going to be in town anymore. I'm traveling for work. And then he says, do you live in California? And I'm like, the person's like, wait a minute. What do you mean, do I live in California? Remember that little thing I gave you that had my picture on it that said a different state on it, didn't say California? So no, I don't live in California. And then he's like, well, then you can't go to court. And you're like, that is exactly what I'm saying. So why don't you just, forget the ticket? And he says, well, if you don't live in California, then just don't pay the ticket, and then it'll just disappear. And you're like, really? This police officer is telling you that if you don't live in the state, that after a while it just disappears? And he's like, yeah. Oh, well, there you go. Done deal. Finally, the government's going to do something for me like they do for the corporations and stuff. And then, or it would be doing it for someone, hypothetically, I'm talking about here. And so then, a couple years later, you get a bill for $300. So the government didn't come to the rescue, and they doubled the fine and tripled the fine and added more fines to screw over the individuals of America. And now, you're left with a $300 ticket that would have been $25. You would have been happy to pay the $25 at the time, but the cop told you not to. Anyway, I got to go pay this ticket.